On the occasion of the release of Halloween Ends, there are definitely certain things to know about this third and final installment of the bloody horror franchise revisited by David Gordon Green. With that in mind, do you think Michael Myers will return in this movie? Well, stay with me to the end of the video as we discuss his possible franchise return. Without any further delay, let's get into it. What's the probability that the Halloween Ends actor, Michael Myers, will return to the franchise? 9 actors have taken on the role of Michael Myers during the long-running Halloween franchise. For the last 3 movies, the man behind the mask was mostly James Jude Courtney, with original Myers actor Nick Castle stepping in for brief appearances. Given his towering physical size and extensive stunt experience, it's no surprise that Courtney made an effective Myers for H40 trilogy director David Gordon Green. And the actor indeed had to call upon every ounce of his stunt ability for the Halloween Ends trilogy, as Myers took on Jamie Lee Curtis's Laurie Strode one last time. The highly anticipated final battle between the Halloween franchise's 2 main characters certainly lived up to expectations, as Laurie and her granddaughter Allison, played by Andi Matichak, teamed up to brutally unmask and kill their boogeyman. The very violent and undeniably decisive ending of Halloween Ends now has fans wondering about the future of the Halloween franchise. For his part, Myers actor Courtney seems to be done with it all after putting on one last performance. Speaking exclusively to Reuters, Courtney opened up about her discussions with Green and Curtis about their prospective Halloween futures and said they've all made a final decision. In Courtney's words, his remarks was this: "You know, David and Jamie and I talked about it. We're done. I think for me, to pose this character, Jamie and I were talking on set towards the end, knowing that was the end for us. We sort of compared it to the Super Bowl. I'm 65, she's a year or 2 younger, but we're not spring chickens. We're both vital and dynamic, athletic and young, but we're moving to places in our careers. I feel like it was a Super Bowl win. I feel like 2018 and Kills were playoffs, and I feel like Halloween Ends was the Super Bowl. And we won, dude." He ended by saying that it's better to win with a big ring in your hand than leave at sunset. In the light of all these, where can the Halloween franchise go next? Halloween Ends brings the H40 trilogies to a decisive end, not only by killing Michael Myers, but by having the people of Haddonfield use a car crusher to annihilate his body. But while this latest incarnation of Myers has been written off, Myers' character likely didn't make it out of movie screens. One possibility for the resurrection of the franchise is of course the full reboot, with an all-new Michael Myers and maybe even a new Laurie Strode. But if the goal of the future Halloween filmmakers is to keep the current timeline alive, there are some possibilities that this will happen even after Myers is completely erased. Halloween Ends does indeed seem to be setting up its own potential successors, with the character of Corey, whose unhappy life led him to becoming infected with Myers' malevolence, which turned him into a killer. Although Corey himself has his neck snapped by Myers at the end of the movie, he isn't permanently destroyed, and he certainly isn't thrown into a car crusher, and so by horror movie logic, he could still come back. Replacing Myers with a new killer is obviously reminiscent of Friday the 13th, A New Beginning, a movie that is almost universally reviled by slasher fans. But a future Halloween sequel might pull off the new killer trick with Corey or someone else from Haddonfield as the man behind the mask. All that can be said with almost certainty is that Courtney, Curtis, and Green won't be back after sticking the landing with Halloween Ends. Next up, let's talk about every actor who played Michael Myers in the Halloween movies. Halloween's Michael Myers has appeared in many forms by many different actors over the years since John Carpenter's 1978 movie. Now let's have the breakdown of all the people who have played Michael Myers over the years. Let's start off with the 1978 Halloween, played by Nick Castle, Tony Moran, Tommy Lee Wallace, James Winburn, Will Sandon, and Deborah Hill. Yes, the original Halloween movie released in 1978 had Michael Myers played by 6 different actors. As a young child in the beginning of the movie, Michael is played by Will Sandon. In the first-person camera sequence, when the young Michael took a knife from the kitchen and went upstairs to kill Judith, he was played by Deborah Hill, the co-writer and producer. Adult Michael Myers was portrayed mostly by Nick Castle in all the scenes where the masked killer is stalking about. However, when Michael Myers is briefly unmasked by Laurie Strode, the bare-faced Michael was Tony Moran. The scenes in which Michael was required to break through barriers were performed by Tommy Lee Wallace. Finally, for Michael's climactic fall from the bedroom terrace, stuntman James Winburn donned the Michael Myers mask to perform the maneuver. Who played Michael Myers in Halloween 2? John Carpenter and Deborah Hill knew that a professional stunt actor would be best for the role of Michael Myers in Halloween 2 because Michael would be in a lot of action scenes. The part went to Dick Warlock, who was also the stunt coordinator for Escape from New York, and Kurt Russell's personal stuntman for more than 25 years. Adam Gunn played Michael Myers in the flashbacks, where he's seen again as a young boy. Next, we have George P. Wilbur, Tom Morga, and Eric Preston in Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. In Halloween 4, Morga was the only actor who was has played Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, and Leatherface on screen. He played Michael in the opening scene with the ambulance, the gas station scene when he's wrapped in gauze, the dinner scene with Dr. Loomis, and the drugstore scene with Jamie Lloyd. For the rest of the movie, George Wilbur played Michael Myers as an adult who stalked both Jamie and Rachel. When Michael Myers was shown as a young boy in flashbacks, he was played by the young Eric Preston. And Don Shanks took the role in Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. Michael comes back to hunt Jamie Lloyd again in Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. Don Shanks played Michael Myers in this movie. At the time, he was known for playing a Santa in the Silent Night, Deadly Night movies. Shanks played both Michael Myers and the mysterious Man in Black in Halloween 5. Let's now talk about Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, played by George Wilbur and Michael Lerner. Here, George Wilbur was back as Michael Myers and played the Shape for most of the movie. But because test audiences didn't like it, Halloween 6 had to be made again quickly. Since the studio wanted Michael to look less bulky, they reshot a lot of the movie with Michael Lerner as Michael instead of George Wilbur. Because of this change, the last third of the movie showed Michael Myers, who is thinner than before. Next is Chris Durand in Halloween H2O 20 years later. Halloween H2O took place 20 years after the original attacks on Haddonfield's teenagers, ignoring the events of Halloweens 4, 5, and 6, and serving as a direct sequel to the first two movies. Here, Michael Myers was played by Chris Durand as he comes to find Laurie Strode and her son at a boarding school where she serves as the dean. Then, we have Brad Loree taking the role in Halloween Resurrection. In Halloween Resurrection, Michael Myers finally killed Laurie Strode. In this movie, Michael Myers was only played by Brad Loree, but Busta Rhymes and Brad Savant's character, Charlie, both wear Michael masks at different times. Next is Tyler Mane and Dag Faerch in Rob Zombie's Halloween. In this movie, the young Michael Myers was played by Dag Faerch, and for the monstrous adult Michael Myers, Tyler Mane took the role. A retired professional wrestler, Mane brought the size and strength to the role that Zombie wanted, while also having the stunt know-how from his wrestling background that allowed him to do anything Michael might need to do. Then, in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, Tyler Mane and Chase Wright Vanek took the role. Chase Wright Vanek played the young Michael Myers in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, while Tyler Mane played the adult Michael Myers who chased after Laurie Strode and killed a lot of teens on the way. Next, who played the role in Halloween 2018?
In the Blumhouse revival of Halloween, Nick Hassel returned to his role as Michael Myers with actor and stuntman James Jude Courtney supporting.
Courtney received the role after being recommended by stunt coordinator Ron Hutchinson for his ability to do both physical stunts and genuine acting. Wrapping it up, we have Dead by Daylight. Despite Michael Myers appearing in many video games, Dead by Daylight is the only game in which Myers is credited with a voice actor. Though Dead by Daylight's version of Michael Myers holds true to the original killer in Halloween and never spoke in the game, his breathing and grunts were done by Frederick Poirier. That concludes today's video. If you found the video helpful, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to share the video with your friends and family. See you next time.